to this toad talk that we have that features my good friend and colleague, Kyle Schutt. And, of course, we have the, toad! Oh, Kyle, do you see what's going on?
Yes, his top is down.
That's right. We gotta correct this right here. All right, Toad. Now, okay. Kyle, bugs, pests. Oh my God, what's going on?
Oh, a lot of different things are going on, Porky. I mean, we could talk about the lanternfly, we could talk about mosquitoes, we could get into ticks, pretty much anything you want to talk about. Bites, stings, or sucks sap, we could get into it.
Well, we got all these posters here and signs here, and the lanternfly seems to be something that people need to be very much aware of.
Yep.
And I know 2020, it was a challenging year in many ways, but the lanternfly is still out there. What's the 411 of the lanternfly?
We're seeing a spread. Even, with everything going on this year, people not doing their daily routines. It seemed like a lot of people wanted to enjoy outdoor activities. They could stay spaced. They got them out of the house in a safe way. So I know the state did report an uptick of spotted lanternfly sightings, with the core still being in southeast PA. There are a few counties out west, little southwest, that's seen a few pop-up encounters with the lanternfly, but mostly, Schuylkill County and southeast of us is still the majority of the lanternflies. And unfortunately, we did see a spread here in Schuylkill County, towards the northern portion of the county.
Oh.
I know, doing what we can, but, they're very efficient at spreading. They lay so many eggs that, they can create new populations very quickly, and they are quite a headache to deal with.
Well, Kyle, I have to say, here it is, like the first full day of winter. Winter started. If I were to look for lanternflies, what would I look for, and what could I do?
Yep, so with these handy-dandy little posters, metal signs here, basically we're going to be looking for the stage in between here. So these are the lanternfly egg masses, and this guy right here is actually a freshly laid egg mass. So you can see it looks a little more moist. It almost looks tacky, kind of like a bit of spackle. And that's what it would look like late September, October, maybe even into November, depending on what kind of weather we have. So right now, like Forky said, the first day of winter, we'll probably be looking more towards the egg mass you see at the bottom. So that's an older one. It's been out for a few months. It starts to dry, crack, and it looks more like a clay mark on a tree. So that's what you'll be looking for right now. And the most effective thing you can do is actually just to scrape those off the tree, and you can scrape them into a sandwich baggie, a little plastic jar, and just a squirt of hand sanitizer, which could be tough to come by these days, or a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That'll kill all the eggs very quickly, and then you can just dispose of that in the trash.
How many eggs, Kyle, would be in a mass like that?
Yep, so under one of those little protective coverings, there's anywhere between 30 and 50 eggs, and they're very small because this egg mass, while it may look large in the picture, it's only about 1.5 inches long. So, if you fit 30 to 50 eggs under there, they're pretty much going to be like the size of a grain of rice.
Oh my, wow, how about that? So that's what we have to look for. Where would you find these? Like, if I had a home, backyard, all that, like, where would I look?
Yep, so the number one place would probably be on the underside of tree branches, even around the root flares sticking out of the ground on trees. These guys are actually fairly smart for being a bug. So they like to lay on the undersides of the tree branches because it keeps their egg masses out of the weather.
That is a smart thing to do.
That'll help them survive a little bit better. But, they can practically be found on any kind of backyard junk, underneath patios, porches. If you can see in this picture over here, those are actually probably 20 or 25 egg masses laid on the side of a rusty 55-gallon drum. So they're not very particular on what kind of surface, as long as it is very hard and very smooth. That allows their eggs to stick better, and they can get a better protective coating over them.
Okay, well, how destructive are they? Like, what all have they been going for? Like, what?
Yep.
Okay, when they're out there as an adult, what damage are they doing?
Yep, so to start, luckily we don't have to worry about them biting us. That's one of the positives because they do have a mouthpiece, which is kind of like a needle, and they'll use that to drill into trees, vines, bushes. They actually feed on 70 different species of plants, and that number keeps growing and shifting as we figure out more about them. But they do love apples, peaches, they'll go after grapes, all those fruiting trees. They love the sap from those, but they'll also go after maples, and of course, tree of heaven, which you can see in one of the top pictures there. That is a favorite. It's from the same place in Southeast Asia where these guys came from, so they know when they got over here, those trees are there, we can go right to them, and we can feed on them.
Well, I have to tell you, Kyle, as the adult, I don't know how many times I try to take my hand, and I go down like this, and they leap.
Yep, it can be very difficult to smash them. And actually, what we've noticed is the best way is to come head on towards them, because their eyes are actually offset to the back, because they feed flat on a tree like this, and their eyes face backwards so they can see predators behind them.
Oh.
So if you come straight ahead, you might have a better chance to catch one of the guys.
How about that? That's good to know that. So, but this is a pivotal thing that we could do as citizens, because agribusiness is the number economic driver, and it's also the food producer for us.
Yep.
So it's important. Now, I feel guilty because it's such a beautiful bug. I can see, look at how beautiful that is. My God, but how destructive they are. Like, it's like a natural anomaly.
Yeah, and with the amount of farms and produce producers that we have in the state, that is a huge economic commodity for us. And these guys have a chance to really put a damper on that and make some tough times for those farmers.
Wow. Hey, let's shift gears now. Mosquitoes. I know that's another part of the hat that you wear. I studied mosquitoes because of your job. Mosquito is actually Spanish, and it means little fly. And I actually heard that the mosquito is the deadliest organism on planet Earth, because it has killed millions.
Yep, and I was going to say it's believed. I think that they estimate that mosquitoes kill right around 1 million people each and every year, even to this day.
I can believe that. Well, why are we concerned about mosquitoes here in our area? Because when I say mosquito, I think, I know there's a variety of mosquitoes, but I think of like yellow fever, I think of dengue, malaria, all of which I have not heard of here in this part of Pennsylvania. But why are we concerned?
Yep, so mostly in Pennsylvania here, we worry about the West Nile virus. That's the main basis of our program. We target the mosquitoes that transmit that disease most readily, which is the Culex mosquito. And in the past, there was also some plans, to kind of battle Zika virus when there was a flare-up of that a few years ago. And we also do target triple E, which is Eastern equine encephalitis. We did have a little pop-up flare of that the other mosquito season, so we targeted some floodwater marshy mosquitoes and tried to eradicate some of those. But mostly, we try to also do a program to help out homeowners and residents with any kind of nuisance complaints that they have or just problematic mosquitoes in their backyard. We try to come in, and set a trap. We can do control events for those homeowners to try to, make their backyards a little bit more enjoyable.
Okay, well, so tell me about the natural history of the mosquito. Like, who does the biting, and how many varieties, species do we have, that sort of thing?
Yep, so there is a ton of different mosquito species. I believe, right in this area in Pennsylvania, we have about 60 different types of mosquitoes.
60?
Yep, a lot of people think there's just one kind of mosquito that bites, but we have a ton of different ones that all live in different environments.
How about that?
Yeah, ranging from areas that have flooding problems to swampy, marshy areas to tires, planters, cups in your backyard that can collect water. Those could be areas where mosquitoes can breed. And the females, they're the ones that bite.
They would.
Yep.
They would.
I don't want to bad talk anybody, but the males just collect pollen. That's how they feed. And then the females do the biting, they take the blood meals so they can produce eggs and lay eggs in those water sources.
You know, one would not think that, but isn't that interesting how that would happen there like that? Wow, wow. So where do you see the mosquito population? Is that growing like the lanternfly, or?
It fluctuates. A lot has to do with the weather and
It
just
would,
some natural
yeah.
cycling. But if we do see a wet spring, a wet summer, and then we follow rain events with some warm dry days or warm dry period, that really helps the mosquitoes go through their egg, larvae, adult cycle quickly, and that can help produce elevated mosquitoes numbers.
Oh, my word. Well, what can you say here? Well, thanks for that information. Now, I know we talked about ticks.
Yep.
Let's have a tick talk.
TikTok.
Tick talk. I don't want to have a tick attack because I had to. So, you work with ticks too, for crying out loud.
Yep.
Oh my God, I think that those creep me out, man. Wow.
Yeah, so we do kind of like a surveillance program. That's also partly through our mosquito grant from the state. There's some funding and some things that we can do to look for ticks. Mostly what we do is drag. We have a tick drag that we'll put through the brush, through some grassy areas. At public areas, we try to do places where people will either want to hike, picnic, spend a lot of time, so we can kind of judge tick populations in those areas to try to help keep people safe. So we do a lot of walking trails around the county, and a lot of edge habitat. That's where ticks love to be. So if you're, walking down a pretty well-known hiking area, a beat down trail, if you stay right in the middle, you have less chance of coming into contact with a tick rather than on the edge, because those ticks will be in that vegetation right on the edge. They'll be reaching out, waiting to, grab onto somebody walking by, and then they'll crawl around and find the area that they want to bite.
Wow. During these pandemic times, people have just been going outdoors en masse. Oh, my word. Sweeter Lake, Locust Lake, Tuscarora, all those, Swatter State Park, they've been inundated with people walking and getting outside. Besides the fact that it's healthy, but a lot of people, it's their first time really outside because it's something they can do during these pandemic times. So, wow. Well, Kyle, you're quite the conservationist. I understand you have a YouTube channel.
I do. Thanks for the plug, Porky.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel with my hunting buddy and my dad and his dad. We all do some stuff, but basically, we try to film what kind of hunting activities we do, but then we also get into habitat management. That's something that we really enjoy doing, trying to create better landscapes for deer, turkey, any kind of wildlife. So we do have a few videos like that up. Our channel is America Backwoods Outdoors. That's on YouTube, and then we do have Facebook and Instagram pages too. So, if you're interested in figuring out how you can try to make your land a little bit better for different types of game, you can check that out.
Well, great, Kyle. Hey, thanks for sharing this information, and I appreciate your time. And you know what, Kyle, you are totally awesome.